Good morning. Today we have Anna and Glenn from Pillar to Post. They are my personal favorite inspection team because they have proven themselves. It's not just because they show up with snacks and smiley faces. It is because they have proven themselves. Sometimes inspectors are delivering hard information, and how they deliver it depends on how it's perceived. And they do an amazing job. I have had phone calls with buyers at 7 p.m. as the inspectors explain the report. I have inspectors that will do the entire report on video so that I can share it to the clients. They are here to bring true information. And the other part about it is they're knowledgeable. So when they say something like, hey, we noticed that this light isn't working, but it feels like it's just the switch. This is a $3 fix. That's what you need when you're dealing with buyers, and you need someone realistic when you're dealing with sellers also. So I brought them in today so we could talk about home inspections and kind of how to have that conversation at the home inspection and after, because once you have this report, you do need to create the ROC, the removal of the inspection contingency document. That is part of the contract. So having a partner that can help you do that and share information in a way that makes sense it's key. It's critical and it's key. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so thanks you guys for being here too. So my name's Anna. I think what Kelly said was important, that we are there to help share information with your buyers in a way that's not going to scare them. We are there to provide the information on the home they're purchasing, because it's scary purchasing a home. It's a huge, it's a huge financial commitment. So we are there to help share the information the best way possible. Our goal is to give them the information in a non-threatening way, but also our goal is to help you guys as agents with convenience, right? We want to offer you guys training and education. We want to offer you a seamless service when you call and book an inspection. We want to provide support to you guys after the inspection and throughout the entire process of purchasing a home or having your clients purchase a home. So I'm going to talk just a few minutes about like Pillar to Post and Kelly really likes us because we all talk with our hands. So Glenn will get us going.
It'll get going.
You'll have
We all get there.
So we booked 24/7. You can book with us. You can book online. You can call us. You can text us. If you have questions, you're able to communicate with the inspector that you had through email, cell phone, if they give the cell phone out. Kelly is a cell phone gal, so you do enough inspections with us, you get our cell phone. So
I don't abuse it.
No. So we are there for you to book at your convenience. We don't sub out any of our additional services. So every service that your client could need, you can book directly with us. You're not going to have to call 2 or 3 different companies to come out. I know from a seller's perspective, Graham was 9 months when we sold our home, and the inspector that the buyer used to purchase our home didn't do any additional services. So I was there when they showed up to drop the rate off, and I was there when they showed up to do the well and septic, and it was annoying from the seller's point of view to have to deal with that. But also as a buyer, it's just easy, and you're saving money when you book all of your services with us. So
that is a point that I share when I talk to buyers. Again, you can piecemeal this and have different people, but having one team that could come together and do it all at once, this is a scary time. Mm-hmm. It's hard for sellers because they're waiting. It's really anxiety driven for buyers because they fell in love and now they're waiting for the other shoe to fall. They're looking for problems, and the longer they live in that in-between space of not knowing and not having answers, it makes them doubt. Yeah. So yeah. I appreciate that you guys get in. And recently, a new thing that I love that you're doing is kind of getting ahead of the radon test. If the place is vacant, we've been working together to get you in so that when you show up for the inspection, you're actually taking the box. Yeah. And what a great thing that is, to be like, here's the report
to not be waiting.
And the radon, to not be waiting.
Yeah, for sure.
And to kind of add on that too, just us being able to do everything, all your reports are in one place, so you can easily find all your reports as an
we all
agent.
talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
I took the coffee on purpose, I didn't do that.
I know, I
You went like this.
But like when you have multiple inspectors, doing different things, you're getting an email here, you're getting another email here, you're getting it sent in a different way. So just as an agent, it's just easy to find all our reports, and they're all in one place. So it makes life a lot easier when you're doing the release of contingency, and you have to go back and look at all the reports. They're all right there. You don't have to go searching through your email trying to find everything.
So if you have never done a home inspection, you've never been in a home inspection, what are the main things that we are looking for at an inspection?
We're mainly looking at 4 main categories: health, safety, mechanical, and structural. Obviously, we're going to go inside and out the entire house. I mean, we're going to run water everywhere, open all windows, doors that we can get to, all that kind of stuff. Get on the roof. But the main things are health, safety, structural, and mechanical. We're not looking at cosmetic issues, cosmetic things. So a hole in the wall, unless it's like a health concern, or a safety concern, like in a garage, that could cause the fire to spread. But like a normal, they slam a door open and it puts a hole in the wall. We're not concerned with that kind of stuff. So we're, mainly the health and safety issues that we're looking for. And then obviously any kind of structural concerns and mechanicals, making sure your furnace, water heater, AC, all your appliances are all functioning and working properly, and that they're in good condition. But we will, go inside and out, every nook and cranny of the house, just looking at everything. But those are the main 4 categories that we're looking at.
And then, so this is sometimes where, and I just kind of talk about the agents, this is sometimes where we need to get ahead of this process with our clients. We are not letting our buyers think that we are going in there to look for every micro item. Mm-hmm. We are looking for big ticket items and health and safety issues. These are the things that we really are going to focus on. So when you're doing the walkthrough, if you see the hole in the wall with the doorknob, mention it, say it. Now obviously this isn't going to come up on home inspection. These are things that we can see with our eyes. Mm-hmm. Home inspections are here to give you a complete picture. They're not here to create a work list. They're not here to scare you. They're here to bring information.
I think something that's really great, I have used other home inspection companies in purchasing homes, and since I've been with the company 6 years. How long have you been with Pillar to Post?
Going on 9 years now.
9 years?
Yeah.
Nice.
So since I've been with Pillar to Post, we've used Pillar to Post for our home inspections. And the information that the inspector provides you outside of the scope of the inspection is invaluable as well. So when we purchased our most recent home, the water heater, our hot water tank in the basement was reaching the end of its life expectancy. And our water temperature was either like scalding or it was cold. And so there wasn't an in-between, and my dad was there, and he goes, oh, well, we can just replace the knob on the tank in the basement, no big deal. Well, I was told that, well, let's not mess with the tank because the tank is working now, and if we replace it, it might not work and we might force you to replace it. So just small things like that it saved us thousands of dollars. We still have that same tank in the basement and it's fine. And we were able to wiggle the current knob, and so we have good water temperature now. But he knew that we had different plans for the kitchen. We were adding appliances, and he was able to tell us like, hey, you are going to have to add another electric panel. Just there's nothing wrong with the current one. I can't put it in the report, but this is going to be an additional expense if you want to add, your double stove and the other appliances and stuff that you wanted. So the information that the inspectors provide as you're talking to them at the home inspection is also very valuable to you as your clients. And I think it relates to your relationship with your realtor, because they're like, wow, Keleigh, thank you so much for having Glenn come do my inspection, because he really gave us a lot of good information. And it makes them trust you more and earn more referrals, right? Like,
definitely. Actually, to that point, I have a client that's moving from Alabama. They're coming here. It was an uphill battle to convince them about the quality They had to hear it for themselves. So they called all 3 of my referrals. They talked to all 3 of them. They asked me for more. I gave them 2 more that I had worked with. Ultimately, they chose you. Dan was the inspector on that. We could not negotiate through the removal of contingency because you were so incredibly thorough. The sellers couldn't acknowledge the damage.
Oh, jeez.
They're like, we've lived in this house and we didn't notice this.
Yeah.
And it was just a hard point. It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
They told me that they received the most thorough inspection report they have ever seen, and they buy and sell. This is not their first transaction. We are under contract, getting ready to close. They used you again. Dan wasn't able to do the inspection. Spencer did it. And all it took for them was me saying, talking about how you all have this longevity, your knowledge.
Yeah.
They were thrilled to death.
Yeah.
Did the second inspection with you, and then referred a client to me, and also referred you to the client. So hey, we're waiting to hear
Right.
if we're jumping back in.
Yeah.
But that's important because when they fall in love with the home, it's the realtor, and they're happy with you.
But who you
But when
refer
they-
matters.
But when you go to the home inspection, the part that fell in love with the home and you isn't there necessarily. They're there with critical eyes.
Yeah.
So having an inspection team that finds things proves your value, and having an inspection team that's capable of having the conversation and helping you have it. There have been times where I have reached out to the inspector and I have said, listen, this is the point in the report that they are really, really struggling with. You have been, as a team, you have been more than willing to call and talk them through it again. You've given me talking points to say, I don't understand what that Dougal clerk or Florida thing on the furnace does, but you guys are like, this is what it does,
Yeah.
here's what the problem is, here's what the fix is, in layman terms, so that I can have that conversation. And again, it's invaluable.
Yeah, we truly want to support you as the agent, just as much as we want to give your buyers an outstanding home inspection, right? And I've used other realtors in the past who have just said, oh, well, they're $300, like use them, like, and we've had a terrible home inspection. I told Glenn the story, we've had to file homeowners insurance claims because our inspector missed items. And I really felt like our realtor in that situation let us down because they referred them to us, right? And so we have bought 2 other homes since then, and we have 13 doors now that we rent. Like, we've never used her for any of those transactions, right? So you really, when you're providing your any mortgage, title, when you're referring any partner, it really matters who you refer, because it reflects directly on you as the agent.
That's the truth. It really, it does. And these people that are saving money, they're not really saving money. What's happening is a lesser inspection is occurring, so they're blissfully ignorant
Yes.
of things.
Yes.
It's not necessarily you saved money. It's just like the sewer scopes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't eyeball this and look yourself.
Yeah.
We need a professional to do this. Is it worth peace of mind to do a sewer scope? Most assuredly.
$200, but you have that information.
It's going to be thousands.
Yeah.
This week, Spencer and I were at a house doing a home inspection. We pull in. I had spent a lot of time talking about sewer scopes. They're new buyers, they're watching every dollar, but a sewer scope is really important because it's their responsibility. It's weird. In a house, you may not know everything, but you can get enough eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your responsibility. Sewer lines to the street are also your responsibility, and there's no one that can tell except a camera and the person that can do it. We pull in, Spencer looks at me and says, I am so glad you're getting a sewer scope. Call your buyer right now and tell them how great a job you did, because the house next door, they were in the middle of a hydroblast process.
Oh, no.
This was not done when they bought the property, so now every 6 months they have routine maintenance that involves hydroblasting their sewer lines, because they saved couple $100 by not doing a
Yeah.
sewer scope.
I mean, and just kind of talking about sewer scopes too, like literally yesterday, I had a 1900s duplex up in Cleveland, and they replaced all the plumbing. They replaced everything was PVC, it was all new, even under the house was brand new, so they still wanted to do the sewer scope. I did it, it was all PVC under the house, but the second I got outside the house, it was still the old cast iron, and it was completely clogged.
That was the first
it was
house we
completely
bought, the
clogged.
same situation.
So you never know. So sewer scopes are great.
Now-
They're very expensive.
That is a
To repair.
big ticket item. That is a material latent defect. It is a problem with the property that you did not know about, and it would truly change your opinion of buying this property.
Well, your ability to, right?
Well-
It's not a, we want this house, we can spend all this extra money maintaining these items. It's truly like, do we have the ability to spend $20,000 fixing our sewer line, right?
Right.
And if you buy that home without one or without an inspection, you move in, it's now your responsibility. You have to, you can't, some of these things you have to spend money on.
It's, and it's interesting to me too, and I think that we're going to see this continue, and it used to be like general, everything else is whipped cream and cherries on the sundae. I think that we're going to see this become more and more important. Homes are getting older, things are happening, those flushable wipes, don't even get me started.
God.
Oh, here we go.
gosh.
But, I mean,
Tenants.
yeah, right, just all of those things, so you're doing this so that you go eyes wide open into a transaction. Let's talk radon for a second. This is so this is know about radon, learn about it, realize that some people think doesn't exist, and some people are incredibly terrified about it. And understand the numbers and have that conversation. I had a recent transaction. The sellers disclosed that when they did their home inspection, it came back at 4.0, so no remediation required. They stated that in their property disclosure, which I do appreciate. They had their numbers, they had the report. These were amazing sellers. My client is not from Ohio. The verbiage where they come from is 2 point is the number to go by. So I knew this because we'd had conversation. We had talked about what does it look like when we do home inspection. I knew this was coming. And I talked to the agent about this before we ever even went under contract. And I said, listen, I see a problem already. Your sellers feel that 4 point doesn't need to be remediated.
Yeah.
My clients feel that anything over 2 point is a concern. If we are in transaction and they're going to do a radon test, because believe me, they are going to do a radon test, and it comes back anywhere between that 2 point and that 4, we are going to have a hard conversation. So knowing your client and talking to the other agent, the sellers decided to put in a radon remediation system. They just did it.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this is gonna be a thing. So they went ahead and did it. My client didn't, was thrilled to death. And still, we were able to go in and do that. So working with your team and knowing facts and figures and details, and then sharing the information you learn from your inspector every single time you're with them, and going out and talking to your clients about this, they realize that you're part of my education tree.
Yeah.
They value you more now also.
The 4 point number, I think they say is equal to smoking a pack a day or half a pack a day.
It changes.
I think,
but
I mean, the numbers they say
I've heard it
it's
was like a
happening.
pack a day,
Yeah.
which is terrifying.
Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
smoke,
Yeah.
that's a big jump.
Yes.
But if you smoke, at 4, it's really like
quadruples it,
3
right?
packs a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, and it's whatever, the original sellers were fine with it, right? They're like, whatever, we'll open the windows a lot, we'll
Yeah.
air the home out, we're outside a lot, whatever the situation is, it doesn't matter, but if somebody's uncomfortable with that, then it, the mitigation system. And it's easy, mitigation systems take a couple hours, it's not a super high cost, I think they're around $1,000 or $1,200 right now, so it's not a huge cost for sellers to typically put those in.
Now, and this is why we're doing home inspection. That is truly a health and safety issue. I have never once had an issue negotiating a remediation system. Once that information is in front of a seller, it has never been a hardship. And I work with buyers and sellers. So don't be afraid, because if you're afraid, then your client's going to be afraid, and you can't control the narrative. You can't have good conversations. You can't demystify this process, and it's going to feel different for you. So
And if you
this.
need information on any, we have so much print materials, we have PDFs we can email you, we have so much information on everything home inspection related, home related, that we can send you, that you can send to your clients. You can call us and ask us, hey, what's the deal with radon? Like what's some information I can share with my clients? So we're always there to help in those situations.
You really are.
Excuse me. But yeah, going back to home inspections, knowing your buyer, like Keleigh was talking about knowing your buyer and knowing who they are and what to kind of expect from them, is really big when it comes to home inspections. Home inspections are scary, and a lot of, like, especially nowadays, we get a lot of young buyers that are expecting perfection in a house. And they're looking at a 1940s house and they're expecting it to be like a brand new home.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, realizing what their expectations are, and ahead of time kind of battling that, just letting them know, like, hey, this is not a brand new home. This home is, 80 years old. There's gonna be things that are gonna break. There's gonna be old, pieces and parts and mechanicals and stuff like that to the house. It's not a brand new home. The floors are gonna creak, you're gonna have cracks in the walls, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So kind of, getting their expectations where they should be, and especially to the price point too. I see all the time where, someone's buying a $150,000 house and they want it to be the quality of a $400,000 house. So again, kind of getting their expectations to where they should be, that will make your life a lot easier after the inspection and negotiating and that kind of stuff. The home inspection is a defect-based report, so all we're looking at are all the bad things about the house, but all of us, we try to always point out good stuff while we're there as well, but the report is scary. And we consider ourselves like a family doctor, a general practitioner, where we know a little bit about everything. We see a structural issue, we kind of know what that structural issue is, but then we refer you to the structural contractor. So after the inspection, you still may need additional inspections to be done. If we refer a structural contractor or an electrician to come look at an issue, you may have to have an additional inspection to be done after the general inspection. So just like your family doctor, they see something wrong with your heart, they're going to refer you to the heart specialist. We're kind of the same way. So that way you can get the more professional opinion on that item, and what the issue is, what the problem is, what the fix is, how much it's going to cost, and that helps with negotiating and stuff. So
To that point, I want an agent reminder. We're not worried about in the event of something else, because when we wrote that purchase agreement under the inspection column, we have marked everything they want, and then we went all the way down to the bottom, and we also marked other as recommended by general home inspection. This is how you protect your client for when these things happen. If you see something, you're gonna talk about it. If they see something, they're gonna talk about it. And if we need to bring somebody else in to talk about it, you wanna make sure that you've protected your client and you've left that door open for that opportunity also.
Yeah.
Just a little agent reminder.
Yeah.
All right,
Do you have any questions, Kathy?
yeah, do you have any specifics?
yeah, that's fine.
So my recommendations, I am not a home inspector, but I do know a lot.
We could get you
You've been
certified.
through
Right, I'm thinking about it, right?
This is a great next step.
You've been
Next-
enough.
Yeah, right, this is what I need, we also do this. But I will tell you that, we have to be there for every single inspection. We are doing it not only because we have a responsibility to the seller to protect the home, we have a responsibility to the buyer. We need to be there. Someone needs to be there with the inspector. If they cannot be there, if your client can't be there, you need to be there. And that doesn't mean that you're scrolling TikTok looking for your next marketing post. It means that you are actually following them around. You already know what is worrying your client about this house. They are worried about the fact that on the property disclosure, the seller disclosed that there had been water prior to them putting in a waterproofing system. You're gonna take that information and say, hey, it came back on, and you're gonna share this detail with them. They always look, they're not waiting for me to tell them how to do their job, but if they know that the client has specific questions and concerns, they are going to go deeper and really demystify it for them. So follow the inspector around and ask questions. All of them will tell you. I know all about cast iron, how it degrades from the inside. So if it looks horrible on the outside, it's getting ready to go. I mean, like, these things I learned through home inspection. You're there, protect your client, protect yourself, learn about the process. Not that we're going to replace a home inspector, but because when you're walking the property, you'd be surprised the number of new homeowners that don't know the difference between the water where it's coming into the house and when the gas is coming into the house. You should probably know that, so you can be smarter than them in the basement.
All that, right?
And you guys come through and tag it all and point it out, but at the same time, if you are both in a house doing a first look and neither of you know anything, you may not be showing the house in its best ability. You may miss something that could be a good fit because of your lack of information about it. So learn about mechanicals, learn about basements. One of my favorite phrases is, I am not a home inspector, though I do pay attention, and I will point something out. And again, they're going to come through and they're gonna look at it, and then it ends up being nothing, great. It ends up being something, we talk about it. But follow the inspector around and learn from them.
Yeah, and none of our inspectors are bothered when you ask them questions. Like, ask the questions, talk to them. A lot of our inspectors like to talk, so Glenn will just chat your ear off the whole time as he's doing his job. So,
So,
Glenn's like, don't do that.
So to the level of thoroughness that you bring, recently, I showed this property twice, and we know I know a couple of things. I showed the property twice. We had parents, both sets. I mean, like, it was a total, you've done this. It's the total first time buyer tour. Okay, we did it twice. Walking to the basement, 3 steps down from the kitchen, larger opening, and I every time was like, you guys can put a pantry right here, further down to the basement. We did those stairs multiple times. We all did this. The floor is mismatched. It kind of looks like maybe when someone lifts up a shelf. So when the report came back, we got the contract, they did the home inspection, we get the report back. They're talking about the basement, and then they talk about the crawl space, and there was some insulation coming down. And we were all like, crawl space? Where's the crawl space? I had walked the property, I didn't see an extra access, I could tell by the pictures it wasn't under the porch. Called the inspector, who proceeded to send me a picture of the area where he got in, because he just felt like, because he didn't know the house, and all that was actually, that wood was actually this small crawl space kind of in between. None of us would have ever known we were there. And he could have just as easily not taken the screws out to see what it was, to realize what it was.
Right.
But he did it. So now we know there is a little crawl space, and they could tack up the insulation. And the other part of that was delivered with, and yes, this is home ownership. You tack this back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, the level of thoroughness was amazing. And I was like, I loved that. I was like, I said, let me find that out for you, and was still on the phone when the text from the inspector had come back. I was on the phone still, and I had a response from the third party, which was you guys, which was amazing.
Oh, good. Yeah, we love hearing stories like that.
I got 100 of them. I really do.
We can talk all day about it.
I mean, and I have worked with other inspection teams, and I have worked with inspection teams that are not on my referral list at all, and they're the choice. So I have worked with other people. They're very nice people. And now at least, you know, everybody's supposed to be licensed, which means that everyone should have the same knowledge base. So customer service and things like that are really what continues to elevate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate working with you and being a business with you.
Glenn and Spencer, we have bi-weekly meetings, and the goal of those is to go through reports and how we discuss it to the clients, how we discuss it to the agents. So we're all having similar conversations and we're delivering information appropriately, right?
Yeah, because it is, and that was what was amazing is now that I'm videoing, sorry Glenn, but honestly, I look like an amazing rock star because I bothered to send 4 different videos to get them to the right lengths so I could mail them all. Like to send them 4 different videos, like this is what he actually said, because you're right. Your report is extensive. It has lots of pictures. It has lots of information. Read the whole thing, but it's a weighty document and that can be intimidating. Again, another point, agents, when you're talking to your clients, let them know that they are going to be on the receiving end of a big document, that regardless of whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, it's just going to be a thorough thing, because I've seen you deliver them in binders with tabs, and this becomes like the Bible that they are going to for resources. They're putting all the resources in. I just can't wait till I start to resell some of these properties.
Yeah, you
The
have
second
it.
I see that binder, I'm gonna be like, okay,
I
this
got
is
this.
easy.
I got this. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've inspected properties
Oh, yeah.
multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And just so, part of the reason we're doing this is it's best for our clients. And after they do their work and we have demystified this report, we are going to have to go to the other party and remove that inspection contingency. Which means that you've got a list that your buyer might be thinking is a punch list. Oh, these all have to be fixed or I can't buy the house. Again, having the conversation around that. It's not that you can't buy the home. You can still buy the home. You just now have knowledge about something. You might have to clean those gutters next year. So it's not that you can't buy the property, it's just information. Make sure your clients kind of understand that piece, that they're gonna have this big document that's gonna have a lot of info, but it doesn't mean that you don't buy a home, because no home is perfect.
Every home needs maintenance. Whether you're just buying the home or you have lived in the home for
Yes.
10 years, every year you should be doing maintenance on your home. And when you don't do that maintenance, that's when it builds up, right? So that's a great education to share with clients too. Like when you move in, the moment you guys move in, you need to start planning the maintenance routine in your home, right? And we do share, Glenn and our inspectors are great about sharing some of that maintenance tip. We teach a CE class for home maintenance. So we have lots of information that we can give you guys if you want talking points on that.
That's wonderful, because that I think is oftentimes I'm sure that I've seen this, and I'll tell clients, I'm like, I would rather see a home that's been a family home for 40 years than a home that has transacted 8 times in that 40 years.
Yeah.
You may not like the panel, the wallpaper, whatever on that 40-year ownership, but they've probably maintained things. They've stayed on top of different things because it was a family home. When you turn properties quickly, you don't have enough time sometimes to see the effects of ignoring a problem. And then it just kind of, it continues to grow. And as you get further away from that seller history, like people, you know, you start doing that and they're like, I don't know, the roof was on it when I bought it. They told me it was newer.
Yeah.
So then you have to go back through 5 listings to realize, okay, you guys have all been selling a newer roof for 23 years.
Yes.
We all know that is not a newer roof any longer. So again, you need to kind of realize that homes are like people. They're all different. They all have flaws and beauty marks. And
some have green doors, so we like those better.
Exactly. So, but having that information enables you to talk to your client, because you don't want to just get them under contract. You actually want to get them through the inspection period. So if you see it, say it. If you have your inspector there, talk through it with them. Realize that they're going to help you answer these questions for your client. And when you're doing the removal of contingency, just a fun fact, most lenders want that to be a relatively clean document. But you need to convey the gravity of this report. So you're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to call that other agent and say, okay, we did home inspection. Here's where we're sitting. Here's what it's looking like. Have that conversation. Deliver all of the information. When you write the ROC, you're going to write it relatively clean. It could say something like $2,000 credit based on age of appliances. But you really have had that conversation. You've provided, when you email it over, you're sending inspection report documents to substantiate it. You're sending the different facts and files that you have. But you really need to talk to that other agent so that they understand what's happening. Because sometimes the ROC isn't going to fully convey it, and if you just send it over thinking, all right, they'll sign it or negotiate, you're not doing what's best for your client. Have that conversation, figure it out, so that you can move forward now with a better knowledge about the property. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, thanks for having us.
What is your top 2 recommendations for an agent?
When it comes to the home inspection, definitely kind of what I mentioned earlier, setting their expectations, having them prepared, because I can't tell you how many times, again, they show up, the buyers show up, your clients show up, and they're expecting a perfect house. And that's not the case when it's an old house. So just making sure that their expectations are kind of, brought back down to reality, because, when they're expecting a perfect house and then we find all this stuff wrong, they're not happy anymore. Like, they don't want to buy the house anymore. So that helps you after the inspection to help, kind of negotiate that. And then the other thing would probably be, again, kind of what Kelly said earlier, being present. It really does go a long way when especially whether the client's at the inspection or not, but it helps you better understand and kind of explain different things, and it helps you write the ROC. When you can kind of better understand what the issue is or the problem is, where at the inspection we can show it to you, physically show it to you. Sometimes pictures are hard to tell what the problem is in the report, so like being able to be there and seeing it, it might help you better understand to negotiate that with the listing agent or the seller. So probably those 2 things.
Thank you. Do you have any tips?
Probably just book pillar to post for inspection. So I say
Come to group coaching, book pillar to post,
coaching.
pay attention. Okay.
Listen to Kelly, but we have agents who their client has gone with a different home inspection company. That home inspection company has let them down, and then our agent is calling Paul saying, hey, they said this happened, can I send you some pictures, can I pick your brain, can you help us through this process? Because if you had the same situation where your clients booked another home inspection company and you were confused, we would want you to call us, right?
Yeah.
So we've been through that, and I think there are plenty of there's plenty of inspectors who do a good job that are not with pillar to post, but I think what sets us apart is our the relationship that we want to build with your client, the relationship we want to build with you as an agent, and the support that we want to give you. We carry errors and omissions insurance to protect you guys, that most home inspection companies do not. So we, if there ever was a serious situation, we're there to support you financially with a lawyer, right? Like the whole 9 yards. So I say we want to have a good relationship with you. I truly mean it. Like, we want to support you in all aspects. So, and you get to see us. Why would you?
We're all like, hey!
Get a sewer scope. Get a radon test. I don't know. I feel like there's lots.
Well, thank time
Thank
today.
you.
This was really, really
Yeah.
helpful.
Okay.
And it's wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.